I am Nate Burgess.
I am Dean Goody.
And I'm Patrick Sapola.
It's Commander time.
All right, so I got a question for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Are there any cards in this set
Modern Horizons.
that you are just like dying to jam into as many decks as you can?
Yes.
Well, from a practical standpoint, I think Kaya's Guile is a good card,
I agree with that.
which is...
Well, what about from a fun standpoint?
Oh, I think it's still fun, yeah, because
okay.
it does things that I want to do. So it's 1 white, black, instant. Choose 2 things out of this list. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Check. Exile all cards from each opponent's graveyard. Check. Create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. You gain 4 life. And Entwine 3, I can choose them all if I pay 3 more.
Check.
I mean, if I've got 3 extra mana lying around and nothing else to do with it, I might as well just get a spirit and some life.
Sure.
I'm not doing anything else with that mana.
Man, imagine the board state you'd have to be in to make the 1/1 and gain 4 life. Oh, I guess if you're that
It's an instant, so if you're about to die because someone's going to kill you with their creatures.
yeah, but let's see if they're attacking you with one really big dude without trample, then the sacrifice is going to be better than the 1/1.
Well,
Sure.
maybe they've got, maybe they're they're attacking you with 3 things. So you need them to sacrifice one of them. You need to block another one with a token creature with flying. And the other one would bring your life total to 0, but you need to gain 4 life to stay alive.
Okay, I'm in. You sold me.
Nice.
I could actually also see the 1/1 flyer relevant in something like Queen Marquesa, where you might have some equipment lying around and you want a flying body to suit up.
Sure. Is your Queen Marquesa equipment heavy?
It is, yes.
Okay, because she's not always equipment heavy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be Queen Marquesa. Just anything that happens to be white and black and running some equipment.
Sure.
What about you, Dean? Any cards you want to jam into a deck?
I am a big fan of Generous Gift. I think I'm not alone in that. But that's from a practical standpoint. Should I be choosing something a little bit more fun?
Well, is dropping an elephant on something fun?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, it's funny.
It's fun practically. I like blowing things up. Yeah. So it's literally just a color shifted Beast Within, 2 and a white. Destroy anything, and they get a 3/3 green elephant, and it's an instant. So what's not to love?
You're in white, right?
There's your answer.
So can you tell me a permanent type that white has a problem dealing with already?
Lands.
Lands take care of lands, Dean. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that, but what if I don't have one of my... What if I already used that?
That's why Dean, that's why everybody here at Commander Time suggests everybody run the Strip Mine lock with Strip Mine and that.
A Crucible of Worlds?
Yeah, Crucible of Worlds.
Yeah, okay, but I'm in mono white. I don't want to do that. I want to run a generic Swiss Army knife card.
We all advocate that?
Okay, fine.
It just hits anything. Also, white doesn't destroy a terrible number of planeswalkers either, so there's that.
I mean, the one thing I would say it has going for it is that it can do any target, whereas most of the white removal is a little bit more targeted, like artifact and enchantment or creature alone. So
yeah, white
this can
white
do
is good, particularly
all
at
the
those
things.
3 things. Yep, artifact, enchantment, and creature. Not great at lands or planeswalkers. Now, from a fun scale, I am actually pretty interested in jamming Feaster of Fools into my Athreos Shadowborn Apostle deck. Have you guys seen this card? This is pretty.
I love that card.
I think it's pretty spicy.
Love that card.
4 black for a 3/3 creature demon. He's got Convoke and Flying and Devour 2. So Convoke, you can tap your creatures to make him cost less, and Devour 2, when he comes into play, he can eat your creatures to make himself bigger. In Shadowborn Apostles, I can make him like an 11/11 on turn 3, something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Compare that to Demon of Death's Gate, which is already in the deck. Demon of Death's Gate is a flying trample demon. I think he's a 9/9, and you can pay 6 life and sacrifice 3 black creatures to cast him instead of paying his gigantic mana cost. So a little bit similar in what they do, though Feaster of Fools won't have trample, but he will be bigger. So,
But he flies, right?
yep, and he flies.
Cool. There's another way to get Merit Lage on the field.
There
Sure is.
And Nate, we all know you love tentacles, so why don't you tell us about this awesome card?
Merit Lage's Slumber. It's a big thing in the ice. 1 and a blue legendary snow enchantment. Oh, we got to talk about snow stuff too. Whenever Merit Lage's Slumber or another snow permanent enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1 at the beginning of your upkeep. If you have Santa's Blessing, which is 10 or more snow permanents, sacrifice Merit Lage's Slumber. If you do, create Merit Lage. That tentacle thing that we've seen before. A legendary 20/20 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible. So it's a creature token. So if you have something that gives creature tokens a benefit, then this can get even better.
Mm-hmm.
Better
What
than a
would you-
20/20 indestructible flying creature.
What would you run that benefits your tokens for that?
Oh, how about, like the last set had the Gleaming Overseer. Oh, wait, that was zombie tokens. Well, it's in blue, so you could Arcane Adaptation to make Merit Lage a zombie, and then give it Vigilance and Hexproof. Because it's a
Perfect. I love
creature
it.
token. Yes. Ah ha ha. I wouldn't do that, though, but you could.
Nate, do you like making people discard cards?
It's okay. If I'm doing stuff with them.
Oh. Sure. Okay, let's say you're doing something with it.
No, I mean, if I get a benefit from them discarding their cards, other than them having less cards, or they put cards in their graveyard and then I can do stuff with those cards.
Well, let's say you've got a Geth's Grimoire on the battlefield, or maybe a Waste Not. Yeah, that's pretty tasty, right? How do you feel about Mind Rake, the new black sorcery with Overload?
Black sorcery with Overload. Target player discards 2 cards.
Oh my.
Overload 1 and a black. You may cast a spell for its overload cost. If you do, then the word target becomes each, which is each player discards 2 cards, including you.
We were pretty happy to see Cast reprinted here, right?
Well, here's the thing. There's already cards that make everyone discard 2 or 3 cards that cost less than 3 in black.
It costs 1 and a black. Just 1 and a black to overload.
Oh,
The
1
overload
and a
cost
black.
is cheaper than the initial cost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's wacky.
Yeah. I'm a fan of cards like this. I enjoy Noxious Vapors, which has everyone reveal their hand and discard all their cards except for 1 of each. They can choose a card up to 1 card of each color and discard the rest. And Siphon Mind is, I think, the same cost. Everybody discards 3 cards. So I like cards like this.
3 in the black.
It is not 3 in a black. It might be 2 in a black.
It's 3 in a black.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I just say?
Siphon Mind.
Siphon Mind, yes. Siphon Mind is 3 in a black. I was actually thinking of Delirium Skeins, but I said Siphon Mind instead. Whoops.
Oh my goodness.
So Delirium Skeins is 2 in a black sorcery. Each player discards 3 cards. So this is
Yeah.
like a baby Delirium Skeins.
Nice.
And I like it.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you guys the card I'm gonna be jamming in at least 2 of my decks. All right. It's really, really boring. Can you guess it?
Is it?
It's really boring.
If it's really boring, then let's
Ooh.
go down to the Mana Rocks.
Yeah. It's one of the talismans.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
That leaves us with Mox Tantalite.
Is that the card?
Yeah?
You gonna jam that
I'm
in
gonna
all your
put it-
decks?
No, not all of them. 2 of them.
Oh,
at
so
least.
spend 3 with the 0. What was that trick you were doing with Lotus Bloom?
Aha! Yeah, you're doing it. That's part of it. So that's with Prototype Portal. No wait, Prototype. Prototype.
Yeah, Prototype Portal.
Yeah. It's that one. You can put Lotus Bloom or Mox Tantalite under there, and then you can just tap it for 0, and then all of a sudden you have a mana rock sitting there that's either nets you 3 in the case of Lotus Bloom, or 1 that sticks around forever. So that's beautiful, and Gonti will not say no to more mana rocks.
Interesting.
So yeah, especially cheap mana rocks. So I'm very excited for that. I was like, that's my card right there. But other than that, all of the the Horizon lands, I guess we're calling them, the pay 1 life to add enemy colors, and 1/2 sack and draw a card.
Yeah, they're super
Those are-
pin lands.
Yeah.
Super pay. They're okay. But paying a life to get 1 of 2 colors is cool. I don't know that I would sacrifice them to draw a card unless it was already going to get blown up.
Or if you're just bored. I do that sometimes.
You're bored.
Speaking of boring, sort of workhorsey kind of cards like Mana Rocks, what are your thoughts about Scour All Possibilities?
That sounds thorough.
Yeah, it is. The art actually is fantastic and depicts that sort of a thing. So it's a sorcery for 1 and a blue. Scry 2, then draw a card. You can flash it back for 4 and a blue. It's a slightly overcosted, what is that? Preordain? And by overcosted, I just mean it costs more, not that it actually is overcosted, because that's still a great rate for what it does.
Yeah.
I played against it at the pre-release, and I was not the most impressed, but I don't think, sealed is where it is going to be the best ever.
No, I wouldn't think so.
And you really want your cantrips to be 1 mana. That's really what my issue is.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, I run Think Twice, which costs 1 and a blue, and then you can flash it back. The only thing that is really nice about Think Twice is that it's an instant, and this is a sorcery. I don't know. I think that on the face of it, on the first cast is fine. I may never ever flash it back, but even at 1 and a blue, I don't hate Scry 2 draw card.
If I don't have enough brainstorms for whatever reason, I guess I'll run it.
Yeah, it's got an even mana cost, so Yenet won't probably be running it much.
Oh, that's true. And your opponent's... what's the Eldrazi where your opponents can't even, so you couldn't even out of that.
Void Winter.
Yeah, that's the one.
What about Alpine Guide, you guys?
All right, we're back up to A. I do not love Alpine Guide. I don't even know if I like Alpine Guide. You want to read Alpine Guide for us so everybody knows what we're talking about?
Sure. 2 and a red for a snow creature, Human Scout. He's a 3/3. So, on curve, that's not the worst already. And he's a snow creature for the people who care about snow things. When Alpine Guide enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a mountain card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Alpine Guide attacks each combat if able. When Alpine Guide leaves the battlefield, sacrifice a mountain. So the key part here is that it is mountain and not basic mountain for both of these, so you can attempt to fix some mana if you are desperate.
He temporarily ramps. And if you're in like Boros, you could go find your Sacred Foundry, and then when he dies, you could just sack a basic mountain instead.
Do you think he speaks French or Swiss?
Italian.
Well, if he's Alpine, then he comes from the mountain range of the Alps. On the planet Earth,
Yeah.
is not a multiverse character. This character's from Earth,
Oh yeah, this is canon.
Mm-hmm.
He's I don't know. I guess I could say he looks a little French. What do you think, Patrick?
I actually am on the Swiss side.
Oh no, we have a disagreement. Nate, break the tie.
Don't want to.
It's up to you, listener.
I think he might be Dutch.
Tweet at us. Yes, he's a displaced Dutchman. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you guys think 3 mana is worth it to just sort of fix your mana? When he leaves, you're going to be, net the same amount of lands that you had anyway.
No. Maybe if it was untapped, it would be like busted in half. But
yeah. It's not as good as a Wood Elves in green at the same converted mana cost. He does similar things, but Wood Elves does it better.
Here's something I never thought I would say. At least he doesn't have haste.
It's not as good as a Farhaven Elf, even. Because you gotta... Well, maybe.
That's debatable.
If you bring in one good mountain and you sacrifice a bad mountain when it leaves.
As long as Alpine Guide is on the battlefield, it is better than a Farhaven Elf.
Yeah, but it's not always going to be on the battlefield.
Right. Once it leaves, it's going to be way worse because you're.
I assume every creature's going to die at some point.
You could burn something like a, what do you call it? Like an imprison effect on him where he can't attack or block.
Yeah, I was just thinking there's probably a trick here with Blood Moon, but I don't know what it is.
You would just sack one of your other lands. That's not good either, though, because then you go fetch your dual, your forest mountain, and then it just becomes just a regular old mountain.
Okay, so you cast Alpine Guide. You cast Fractured Identity on Alpine Guide so that everyone else has an Alpine Guide. Nobody else is playing red, so they don't get to search for a mountain. Then you play Blood Moon. All the lands are mountains, and then you wipe the board, and everyone has to sacrifice one of their newly mountained lands.
I'll do you one better, Nate. You're also running Panharmonicon. So when you get Alpine Guide, you get 2 lands. Boom.
And Primal Vigor. Oh, wait, Primal Vigor? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
No.
It's the doubling season for everybody.
Yeah, that's Primal Vigor.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because the Fractured Identity will make him a token. Okay, so in this 4-color scenario, we're Fractured Identitying our own Alpine Guide twice, and then killing them all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Seems real good.
Okay, I'm into it now.
You know what? Run Burning Sands, too, so that when the creatures die, they have to sack an extra land.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to a different card that's not Alpine Guide. Some of us like to play life gain decks. I happen to be one of them. And so I happen to be a fan of Answered Prayers. I am a fan of Answered Prayers, and it's not just because the art is amazing. This is an enchantment for 1 white. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, so it's a bad Soul Warden, you gain 1 life. And if Answered Prayers isn't a creature, it becomes a 3/3 angel creature with flying in addition to its other types until end of turn. So it's kind of like a one-sided mom. It's like Suture Priest, except it doesn't make your opponents lose life. And it's not susceptible to board wipes on your opponent's turns. And then you can just keep on making it a 3/3.
Right. So it's like those monuments that turn into a gargoyle or a dragon for a little while.
Yeah, but with very little investment cost.
Yeah.
And ironically, one of White's biggest weaknesses is board wipes. So with this one, you just board wipe before you play your creature spell, and then you have a 3/3 that doesn't have summoning sickness. So I like it.
Okay. So maybe like the Boros vehicle decks or the Mardu vehicle decks. They have a bunch of sometimes creatures, so it's okay to board wipe at certain times, and you won't lose your own creatures because, hey, my vehicles aren't creatures, and this enchantment isn't always a creature. So
yep, exactly.
Wipe it up. Wipe it up! There's some neat cards in the set, but I think in the future, history will remember this set mainly for the mainly for the mana producing stuff, like the lands, the talismans. You get full art snow lands. That's pretty cool. They'll be buying those up because everybody who has extra planar lens is going to want to make them pretty.
Yeah, I agree with you. It also will. I mean, the set is going to be remembered for all the boring reasons, not for the most exciting reasons. Yeah. That being said,
the boring stuff is good.
The Unbound Flourishing is pretty interesting. I like it. I think it's nice. I like.
Oh, you're making me scroll. Oh, that thing.
Yeah, 2 and a green for an enchantment. Whenever you cast a permanent spell with a mana cost that contains X, double the value of X. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell or activate an ability, if that spell's mana cost or that ability's activation cost contains X, copy that spell or ability. You may choose new targets for the copy.
And who doesn't love doubling things?
Yeah. Just imagine.
This card was clearly designed by Mark Rosewater.
With this Helix Pinnacle and doubling season, you just need to spend 25 mana to win the game.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that is how it works.
Oh, that's crazy. Only 25 mana to win the game?
Yeah. Plus the initial investment of 3, 1, and 6?
5.
So 5? So
5?
8 mana? Doubling season?
Seems like you could just win with Simic Ascendancy, but sure, that works too.
No, I have 33 mana that I want to win with this 33
exactly.
mana.
And I want to win on my upkeep to make sure that nobody else is going to have fun for that one turn while it comes back to me. So,
So this set is Modern Horizons, and obviously a lot of the cards were designed with Modern in mind. There's a lot of efficient stuff at low CMC with decent stats. What do you guys think about a card like Unsettled Mariner, which is clearly designed with Modern in mind, but I think it has a lot of EDH implications?
So that's the Shapeshifter for just a single white and a blue. 2/2 changeling. Whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless they pay 1 more. That's like what's the thing?
Kira Great Glass Spinner?
Sorta. Well, Kira just counters the first thing. I don't think you get a chance to pay more.
Correct. Kira always counters the first thing. But Kira was the thing that it reminded me of initially. Were you thinking of a different something?
Probably,
there's
but
one
I
that's
don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know what it is, but I know there is one that is kind of like that.
Well, regardless, what do you guys think of this card?
It seems like a very Azorius card.
Yeah, it seems useful.
Is it something you would run on your decks?
It depends on how much removal your opponents use. And every meta's a little bit different there. Yeah.
It has to be a targeted removal, too, so that's kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it does nothing against
It's a little
board
rougher.
wipes.
I think it's going to do work in a highly competitive meta, but, if your group is a bunch of battle cruiser magic loving people, this isn't going to do anything. It's going to be a 2/2.
Yeah, it's only really going to be relevant in the early game because in the mid game or late game, everyone's going to have an extra 1 to pay.
That's fair, but I mean, they're going to have to, assuming they want to blow up 2 things or something. I mean, it may get annoying enough that they'll have to sink some mana into removing it first and then removing something else. The thing that I really like about it is whenever it protects you, whenever you or a permanent you control, so it's lands, artifacts, enchantments, it's everything.
Sure, but still, they're going to have the 1 at that point. If they really want to get rid of your stuff, they'll have the extra 1.
Sure.
Yep.
That's true.
And a lot of this can be just negated with a board wipe anyway. So
yes, also fair. That's why we run Teferi's protection.
It's going to be so much stronger in Modern, where there are very few board wipes running around. So, yeah.
Does that cover the stuff we want to cover?
I think mostly.
We did not talk about Throes of Chaos. We should do a follow-up.
What is that? What is this? What?
Throes of Chaos is a sorcery for 3 and a red. It has Cascade and Retrace.
I don't care.
Oh, that's the thing that only has Cascade and Retrace?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you
Right.
like turn your lands into random things off the top of your deck.
Yay.
I like it, Patrick. I
mean-
like it.
I mean, just one card to the left, Tonic Reformation, is more interesting to me. So,
That gives all the land cycling.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Tectonic Reformation is pretty sweet. I want to
Yeah.
run that in Victus, I think.
I want to run it in a lot of things.
Yeah, it seems real good in Boros when you can run stuff that goes and gets lands for you, like Tithe or
Land tax.
Land Tax.
Land Tax.
Yep, Land Tax.
Or in anything Windgrace or Wrenn and 6 that likes to kill its own lands and bring
Or
it back.
anything that just is red and has a tendency to draw lands late game.
Oh, there's that new blue enchantment. Whenever an attacking creature you control becomes blocked, you can put it back in your hand, which kind of feels like a fixed reconnaissance to me. Except also maybe better in some ways, because if you're running creatures with strong ETBs, your opponents just have like a bad choice. They can either take the damage or let you cast it and get the ETB again.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I really like that.
I just realized something. You know, Tribute Mage? You can search for mana or an artifact with converted mana cost 2.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been called Talisman Mage.
For this set, I guess so.
They missed it.
They did. They missed their opportunity.
Well, then again, it's Trophy Mage and
Trinket and Treasure.
yeah, so they're trying to fit that. So I guess that's okay.
Wait, so what was the name of it? Tribute? Maybe?
Tribute.
Yeah, everything
Yeah,
else starts with TR.
Yeah, it's got to be a TR. TR,
So I'll
Patrick.
have to find 2 more for 4 mana and 5 mana.
Or another word that starts with TR.
Trumpet Mage.
Hey, that's good.
Could be, yeah.
Trust Mage.
Trust? I'm not sure. Maybe.
Triangle Mage.
Ooh.
Triangle Mage.
Triangle Mage. Does whatever a triangle does.
It's been a long time since I've heard a riff on, or even just the original Triangle Man song. Goblin Engineer is actually pretty sweet. When it comes into play, you go in and tomb an artifact, and you can pay a red second artifact and get an artifact with CMC 3 or less back to the battlefield.
It's okay.
Get out of here, Patrick! Get out!
I mean, yeah, I'll probably. I mean, if I open one, I'll put it in Brea probably. But
I
I'm not.
opened 2.
Well, I opened a sword and
You know, you got me beat,
Yawgmoth,
but I did open 2,
and in my prize pack, I got Sarah the Benevolent. So
Ugh. My prize packs were Goblin Engineer, Force of whatever the red one is, the really shitty one, and then another Goblin Engineer. Those are my prize packs.
Nice.
I left the Force there on the table. Someone else can have it.
You got to use the Force, Dean.
Not that one. That's the dark side, and that way leads to suffering.
no, Dean. The dark side would be a force of what's it called? Force of despair. There you go.
No, that's a good one, Patrick. We like that one.
I know it's good, but it's
embrace
also
that
dark.
one. Yeah, well. I actually really like and want to make work Lightning Skelemental. I know it's terrible for EDH, but I really like it. the black red 6/1 trample haste thing that you sack at the end of the turn, and then if it hits a
we
player,
both have a lightning elemental deck.
and apparently Don will too, and also Quinn.
He's not working on one.
Oh, good.
He thought about it long enough and decided not to.
I mean, it doesn't take long for Don to think about it long enough and decide to not do that thing.
Yeah, speaking of, we'll probably have Don on soon. So
yeah, trying
look forward to that.
Hook him up with a sweet deck that he can
take home.
Go get some hot singles and
hot singles in your area.
Okay, that.
Oh! Before I forget, do you mind if we re-record our little ending bit where we do our Twitter thing? I want to add a little plug for Daily EDH if I can.
All right. Visit us on Patreon at patreon.com/commandertime or find us on Twitter at commandtime.
You can find me on Twitter at grubfellow, where I tweet using the hashtag DailyEDH every day.
And you can find me at Detective Yarmus, and I tweet almost never. You can cut that part.
That's fine.
And I'm at Mr. Plorg.
Cool. Did it. Got it. Anything else we want to say?
Nope.
Baba booey, baba booey, baba booey.
Stop.